Zero, Joseph Burwanger and Samantha Roach, and both are here. And this is the date and time set for hearing in this matter. The matter had been heard back in February, actually March, and at that time, well, both. And in those hearings, parenting time was first considered, and then Mr. Burwanger was granted parenting time on a specific date in March, and then alternating weekends, Friday to Sunday and Wednesday evenings. The matter was to be reviewed prior to summer parenting time to determine what that would be. Sir, why don't you go first and tell me how the parenting time's been going since March?
I feel like it's been going good. I've had her every day I'm supposed to, plus extra. This Wednesday is the first day that I didn't take her just because I'm in the process of a move right now. I go to court Monday for my sentencing, and the recommendation for that is 2 years of probation. Other than that, I mean, I go in for my weekly drops. I've been off drugs, spending time with the kid, doing what I'm supposed to, trying to find a job. It's been a little tough with the record out right now, but I'm hoping when Monday comes around and my sentencing and all those charges are dropped, then we'll be able to move forward from there.
So you're not looking at any jail time then for those criminal matters you had going on?
Well, I sat 3 months already.
Oh, okay. When was that, before March then? Had you gotten
Yes.
out? Okay.
Yeah, that was back in December, January, and February.
All right, so time served then you?
No, 2 years of probation as well.
Yeah. All right. So what are you hoping to have the summer parenting time look like?
I would like to go back to our original agreement, the week on, week off.
That's what you want to do for the summer? Are you, and you don't have a job right now?
No, Your Honor.
So you're home during the weeks that you'd have the child?
Yes. I am in the process of finding a job. Like I said, it's just been tough because of the open criminal record right now.
All right. All right, that sounds good, ma'am. What are your thoughts?
That's really not a good idea right now. I this last week have had multiple people attempt to get a hold of me to find where Joseph is because they don't know where he is, that he's missing. I've got the text messages, the threads. Like he said, he didn't have her on Wednesday this week because there was nowhere to take her. Not only that, at this point, like even the home that he had for her, I've had CPS agents get a hold of me twice now. In fact, the last time that we had a court date, he insinuated that CPS was contacting me over me when that was not the case. It was the household he had her in was being investigated by CPS. And I have been contacted by Melanie from CPS multiple times, had very long conversations with her about what's going on and what is and is not. Like I said, I spent the last week with multiple people contacting me to ask where Joseph was because he was quote unquote missing.
Okay, are those people,
And the only time I heard from him
hold
in
on,
between,
ma'am. Are those people going to testify today and tell me more about
I
this?
didn't even
Getting
bother
all this-
asking them because last time I wanted to have people testify, I was told that it's all hearsay and it doesn't matter.
It's hearsay when you say it. If the person who knows the information firsthand says it, it's not hearsay.
That's what I was told last time. I told you that I was going to have multiple people come in, testify to what they've seen, heard, experienced with Joe and with Delia. And I was told those things were all hearsay and they would not be considered.
No, it's hearsay when you tell me it. It's not hearsay when
Well, then I'd be glad to have these people come in. We can set up another court date.
Well, today's the day. I set aside a half of the morning to take care of this.
Well, like I would be glad to do that.
Can you get a hold of the CPS? So currently CPS is looking into Mr. Burwanger's residence?
No. I did not say Mr. Burwanger. The household that he is in. The household that he has had my daughter in has been investigated by CPS. I've had 2-3 phone calls now to be notified that there is an ongoing investigation into the household that my daughter is in.
All right,
That's,
so what do you know about that?
excuse me?
I asked Mr. Burwanger what he knows about that.
Okay, yeah, I would glad to be. First of all, CPS follows up on anything they ever hear. So Kyle, I'm sorry, I live with two other boys and a girl, my girlfriend's kids. Kyle had gotten a bruise on him and they thought it was a hickey. Well, we had an incident back in August of last year where my girlfriend's daughter's father got accused of doing some things to her. So they follow up on anything that had to do with sexual anything as a follow-up and just investigate it. He had a bruise on him. They assumed it was a hickey. So they came in and investigated it. The CPS cases result in nothing. They're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do. As far as me missing, I would ask who thought I was missing, number one, because I don't talk to anybody except my girlfriend and Sam. So.
Well, it was your girlfriend's other partner that called me. Also, your sister-in-law.
He's always trying to stir stuff up, so I could care less about him. My sister-in-law knew her. She never tried contacting me, so.
So, ma'am, or I guess one of you or both, do you want to try to contact the CPS agent who's been investigating this? See if they can hop on the Zoom here and testify?
I don't have her money
My
right
phone
her
isn't
number
here.
right
I
on hand.
can go get my phone. I have her on my contact list, so I can go get it. I don't know about whether or not she'd be able to even get on here. I guess the main thing too, though, is that the last time we had a court date, it was insinuated that CPS was contacting me over something that had to do with me. Got it written down right here. It was flat out insinuated that I was the reason that CPS was
Who
contacted.
insinuated that?
It had nothing to do with me. I was literally just notified of it. But
I don't know, but if they're investigating Mr. Burwanger's residence, the place where the child would be, I'd like to hear about that from them.
okay,
I agree.
Or if she's not permitted by her office policy to testify.
Okay, can I just state that all these
Well,
CPS.
hold on. Ma'am, you're not able to testify then about this matter today?
The judge did just ask, ma'am, you're not allowed to testify about this matter today.
Yeah, unless I have a subpoena, our office policies that we're not to interfere with friend of the court orders, or sorry, friend of the court hearings.
Wouldn't be interfering, it would just be testifying as a witness.
I can kind of hear it in the background.
I apologize. I know this is so weird. He said it wouldn't be it wouldn't be interfering. It would just be testifying, is what he said. Yes.
Yeah. I suppose if this is I can't tell who I'm talking to, but if this is the judge I'm talking to, if you want to, or if you'd like to order me over the phone to testify about confidential CPS matters, that's really all I need is a judge's order to do so.
All right, at this time then I would direct you, ma'am, to testify truthfully about the investigation that involves Ascadelia and your information that you've gleaned and any recommendations you're making as a result of that recommendation. Does that work?
Sure. Yep, that's perfectly fine.
All right, and what's your name?
Milena
All
Stafford.
right, thank you. And how'd you become involved in this investigation regarding that child?
I have a current CPS investigation involving another adult household member who is not specifically Mr. Joseph Burwanger.
All right, and which county are you with?
Nacosta.
All right. And so Mr. Burwanger lives at an address that you were investigating based on a complaint or an investigation of another matter?
Correct. He is not listed as an adult perpetrator, nor is Ascadelia listed as a victim in my investigation.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Burwanger lives at that address?
I'm uncertain. I have not been able to get a hold of the adult who is listed as the perpetrator for a couple of weeks now. I think I have the wrong phone number, or maybe the phone number has changed. And the apartment complex that they used to live in or do live in, I'm unsure, is a locked apartment complex, so I can't necessarily knock on their door just because I don't have access to their door.
Okay,
Can I
And,
ask a question, Judge?
hold on. What were the allegations that you're investigating?
The allegations are involving a child by the name of and there were concerns about a scrape or a mark on his neck and the origins of that marking on his neck.
Were you able to determine if that mark was a result of abuse or neglect?
Yes, I was. I actually have just submitted my report today. It is under review by my supervisor, but at this time, there has not been any abuse or neglect found in the household.
So there's no substantiation of any abuse or neglect?
Correct.
You requesting that your investigation be concluded then or closed?
That is correct.
All right. All right. Mr. Burwanger, you had a question or two for the witness?
Yeah, I just, the simplest fact, you feel Delia safe and loved at her household. She's met us before. I've talked to her. She's spoken with Delia at
That's fine.
school, so
Just let her answer the question. Ma'am, I guess his question was, do you feel that Escadelia is safe in his household at this time?
Yes, I spoke with Ms. Astadelia at school 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and at that time she did not disclose any concerns at either her mother or her father's household.
All right. Is there any other questions?
no, Your Honor.
Ma'am, do you have any questions for Ms. Staffen?
No, we've already talked. I've already had all that down, so.
Okay. All right. I guess you're all set then, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, sweetie.
Yep, bye.
Bye. I just want to point out my reasoning for bringing up the CPS thing in general. I had already been told that Delia was safe. She felt safe. She felt happy. My point was the last court date that we had on this recording, I could probably go find it. It was insinuated that CPS had contacted me due to a situation or circumstances involving my household, that I was being investigated for some reason in some way, shape, or form. That is not the case.
I don't know
Never
how
has
you,
been.
I don't know how you gathered that. I
don't
recall
know. We were
saying,
here talking
You brought
about
up
Mr.
and
We were here talking about
literally-
Mr. Burwanger's parenting time, not yours. So I don't know why that would have been relevant, but okay.
What do you mean? How is that not relevant? My point is that I was being painted to be someone that was having a CPS investigation brought upon myself.
I
When
get
that's
that.
not the
I get
case.
that. But your time with the child was not the issue. It was Mr. Burwanger's time with the
No,
child.
it wasn't. That's my point, is
I
that
know.
it was painted to be that my time was what was being investigated. And that's not the case.
okay, I know what you're referring to. And what I said in that last hearing we had was that the last time that CPS talked to all the kids, Delia raised concerns about her uncle Adam coming to the house. That was all I said. There was
I haven't
nothing
laid
about,
eyes on Adam since the day he tried to kill Apple.
I
So
understand
don't know
that,
what you want
but
me to say.
Delia stated to Melanie that she felt unsafe, not unsafe, but was worried that Adam might come back. That's all I said. There was no insinuation that there was a CPS investigation out for you.
All right, so if we've cleared up the CPS investigation now and there are no concerns with Mr. Burwanger's household from her perspective, I guess why still, ma'am, would you not want the court to enter an order for week on, week off parenting time during the summer?
Because at this point, it's unsure whether or not he even has a place to stay. He doesn't have a job.
We don't have a job.
It's not about wanting to keep her from him. Or
Samantha,
keep
do
him
you
from
have a
her.
job?
It's
Samantha, do
about,
you have a job?
let me keep her until you get your stuff together, and then we will go back to it. I've
Do you have a
never
job,
wanted to keep
Samantha?
your daughter from you.
Ma'am, do you have a job? He asked you a question.
Right now, no, but I still have an
Okay,
income.
so why am I supposed to hold that against him if you don't have a job either? And
I also have a home. A guaranteed, steady, there's no chance of it disappearing home. I live
I'm
with my
mo-
father.
I'm moving.
I'm not going to get
I'm
thrown out
I'm
at any
getting my
moment.
stuff together. I'm moving. I'm doing what I'm
Okay, and
supposed to
I
be
don't doubt
doing.
that, Joseph.
Sir, where are you moving to?
Right now, I'm at a hotel for next week until we find an apartment that opens up. But that's not an issue of, she's had to maintain stable home. I got the
You
hotels,
literally,
the hotels
Living in a
paid for it.
hotel right now?
Huh? Yeah, because I had to move out yesterday. So, and I'm waiting for the apartment to open up.
How long
All
is
the
that?
paper,
How long
all
is
the
that
paperwork
gonna
to go through. So, we got the hotel for a week. Everything should be finalized at the end of the week. Stuff takes time. I mean, this is how it is. It's not like she doesn't have anywhere to go. I can travel and take her to a hotel, but for me to stay in a hotel for a few days is frowned
that's my
upon.
point. Why wouldn't you take advantage of your daughter having a steady, stable place to stay?
I'm not
You can
refuting
literally
that.
come here anytime you want. I've always maintained that you can come to this house every day to see your daughter, and you don't.
She's been stable for the last 3 months. She's had somewhere to go every day.
Really hasn't.
She has. She gets off the bus, goes to the same place every day.
So, sir, have you
This
lived in the
Wednesday was the
same-
first day that changed.
Have you lived in the same place for the last 3 months until yesterday?
Yes.
You think you'll have a place in a week?
Yes. It's all the paperwork's already been submitted. We're just waiting for the apartment to open up and everything to go through.
Where's the apartment at?
We're not exactly sure yet. So we applied for an assistance and they put us at the top of the list and they bought us the hotel room for the week. They said they'll have us set up by the end of the week. Even so, if that doesn't work out, we have a cabin and out right outside of Baldwin we can go to that my girlfriend's parents offered us. So.
All right, let's reconvene in a week, next Friday at 3 o'clock. We'll see how your apartment
Okay.
status is. Can you both make it at that time, next Friday at 3 o'clock?
Next Friday at 3 o'clock, yes.
Ma'am, does that work for you?
Yeah.
If you want to call any witnesses, feel free to call them for that day. If they need a subpoena, you'll have to send a subpoena. You can come up here, fill it out, bring it up here, the judge will sign it, and then you serve it on the person that you want to testify if they need a subpoena. If they'll testify without a subpoena, then just tell them, give them the Zoom information, all right?
Same Zoom number and everything, Your Honor?
Yep.
Okay.
So it'll stay the same, just the weekends and Wednesdays, until I hear more next week about this apartment.
Okay. And you said that was Friday at 3 p.m.?
Yeah, if you get the apartment, get some kind of proof, I don't know, some kind of
Okay.
statement from the landlord or whatever, to prove that you have a permanent residence, that you've signed a lease or some kind of legal document.
What
Either
if we choose
either-
to go? What
Huh?
if we choose to go to the cabin and stay at the cabin?
Whose cabin?
It's my girlfriend's parents' cabin. They have a couple houses and they offered us a cabin. It was a little ways out, so we weren't trying to go to that. That's
Well,
what we're holding off on.
If you're gonna have the legal right to live there for an extended period of time, then get someone on to testify about that and some kind of written document that shows that.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you guys back here next week.
Later.
Ms. Roach is here. Mr. Berwanger is not. He's not logged into the Zoom meeting. I've checked the courthouse and he's not checked in here. He's not sitting in the hallway. Matter was set for the proceedings on parenting time. Was reset from a week ago till today to address Mr. Berwanger's living situation.
Yes.
Do you have any ongoing knowledge about Mr. Berwanger's living situation? I know he was living in a hotel and I didn't.
Last I knew, he was still in the hotel. I did allow him to, I hate to make it sound like that, like just Delia wanted to see her dad. She missed him. Wednesday night, he asked if she could still come, spend the night with him. I figured, why not? I knew they were still in the hotel, but I figured a fun night, go play in the pool, whatever. One night, no big deal. Delia came home Thursday night, absolutely distraught. Apparently they have 2 adults and 3 children, not counting my daughter. So 4 children counting her in this hotel room with 2 beds. The kids are fighting over the beds and who's going to sleep where in the chair on the floor. I don't know. She came home completely distraught last night, which is why I'm not shocked that Joseph is not here right now because I did try to contact him and civilly discuss the issue with him, and he flew off the handle. So I'm genuinely not shocked that he's here right now. I do not know. I cannot say. For all I know, maybe they checked out of the hotel last night, although I doubt it. But I cannot say for sure whether he is still in the hotel or not. I would honestly assume so because he's not here after the things that I tried to bring up to him today.
Right. So, your
In
daughter's.
fact, he was actually pretty convinced, just flat out. I think that's why he's not here. Like, you're gonna tell the judge the truth and I'm gonna get her taken. So congratulations. And that was the last like even semi-coherent text message I received from him. So I bet you that's why he's not here, is because he is still in that situation.
So there was Joseph and 2 other adults and 3.
No, I'm sorry. I said 2 adults,
Oh, 2.
Joseph and his girlfriend.
Okay.
And then his girlfriend has 3 kids, 2
Oh.
boys and a girl. And then Delia was visiting. And I have worked in hotels. It's very rare you find any rooms that are bigger than 2 queen size beds.
Yeah.
Especially in the Big Rapids area. So they had the kids in that kind of situation. Delia was telling me a lot of things that I'm not going to bring up because, again, it's all hearsay from a 10-year-old. I could be wrong. She could be wrong. She could be exaggerating. But the things that she was telling me last night, my daughter came home very, very distraught last night. She was very excited to see her father and came home from that hotel just destroyed. It took me hours to call. It took 3 people and a couple of hours to calm her down after coming home from that situation.
So, Mr. Burwanger had indicated he wanted parenting time on a week on, week off basis, and you had opposed that. You continue to oppose that then?
At this point in time, yes, I do. I will tell you the same thing I've always told him. I'm not opposed to going back to that situation eventually, but it's just, I feel like he doesn't understand. I'm trying to give him a situation here. Like how many people have that opportunity for that kind of help? You know what I mean? Like you have to get your stuff together. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. You got to get your stuff together. But what's bothering me is he knows that he doesn't exactly have the greatest situation for her, and he's not willing to just accept like maybe she'd be better off here. Like he pointed out, I won't even deny I'm unemployed at the moment, but I do have the luxury and the luck to live with my father, who helps make sure that my daughter is always taken care of. She's got a solid, steady roof over her head, the most steady roof she's had over her head her entire life. Like, it's not about taking her from Joe. It's about giving him the opportunity to be able to put his money and his time, his effort towards getting better. And then we can go back to the 50-50. Like, I'm not her only parent. It would be selfish to just want her all the time. Me and her have had that discussion. Like, I'm not opposed to the 50-50, but I want him to have his stuff together, and I want him to be able to stand up for himself. Because right now he's not doing either of those things. And I know Joseph. I've known him for 20 years. He's one of the smartest, most capable people I know. He should be able to do this.
So, right now his parenting time is currently ordered at alternating weekends and Wednesday afternoons.
Yes.
That's okay. Just the week on, week off. You're not in favor of at this point?
Yeah, I'm not okay with the week on, week off. I mean, if legally, like as far as the visitation times, I'm more than happy with that being still being set. Just the thing is, that was what frustrated me too. Me and Joseph has always been able to negotiate, I guess, outside of the court. Like, okay, this weekend we're not gonna, trade off or whatever. And that was what my daughter was asking for, was just for right now, she doesn't want to be there because his situation is just it's stressful to her. So I'm more than happy with keeping that legally so that he feels he still has legal rights to his daughter. Like, I don't want to take that from him. But right now, just he's not in a good position to have her, and it's hurting her more than it's helping her to be near him.
All right, you had made overtones at the last hearing about having people you wanted to call to testify. Did you have any witnesses you wanted to call to testify today?
My father is here and willing to testify as far as, the fact that I've had Delia for the last year and what Joseph's behavior has been like since then. I mean, if we're going to be able to come to a solid agreement, I really, the only other 2 people I was going to get, honestly, I couldn't get for the day. And they really, as much as they do paint the picture that I'm trying to paint, they don't really attend to this issue right this moment.
Right.
So if you would like to speak to my father about the fact of Delia being here and how much she did. We sat down with my dad and talked to Joe about how Delia wanted to stay here with us. And so, I mean, he can testify to those things. My daughter has asked to not be with her father or to stay with me full time. He can testify to that, but really, I mean, if you don't need to hear anything regarding that, then
I don't know that it's necessary at this point without him here. I guess in the absence of any other information, it'd be my intent just to keep the current schedule in place, pending further order of the court. I'm not going to set another review, so it would be up to either you or Joseph to file a motion if you wanted to see things change, but
Okay,
at this point, it would just be the alternating weekends and,
okay. I do have a question for you. Honestly, I don't know if you can answer it for me or not, but here's my chance. Legally, I guess, okay, like I said, last night my daughter came home from visiting her father and she was very distraught. She flat out told me that she does not want, not even that she doesn't want to be with him right now, it's that she wants to stay with me full time right now because of his circumstances. Legally, what options do I have as far as that goes? Because I'm sorry, I don't think it's fair that I should have to force my daughter to go sleep in a hotel room chair. I mean, I don't want permanently, I do not want him to lose his parenting time. I do not want him to lose his legal right to see his daughter. But right at this moment, it's not a good situation. She was distraught. I've never seen my daughter like that. And I'm sorry, morally, legally, you can say whatever. Morally, I do not feel right sending her off in a situation that she is not comfortable in.
all right, I guess with that, parenting time, immediately or in the short term, I would leave up to you, I suppose. The parenting time would be as agreed until Mr. Berwanger has a permanent residence. And then at that point, it would transition back to the every other weekend,
Okay,
Wednesday afternoon.
okay, so
That's, that situation.
I know it's a gray area. Like I said, I didn't even know if I could ask you, but just, I don't know what to do here. I really don't.
Except
I
for
don't wanna
review,
send
so
my
pretty much,
daughter-
pretty much the door's wide open as to what can happen, at a review. Based on
Right.
certain evidence, but the evidence that they're living in a hotel room with already 5 people, that's pretty crowded situation. And then your testimony about your daughter's, your daughter's state of mind when she returned is pretty persuasive as well. So, you've been pretty honest, I think, and indicated that you would, make time for him to see the child. So I'll leave it up to you until he has a permanent residence. Then at that point, it would be the every other weekend and Wednesday.
Okay, all right, yep. All right, so should I be looking for another court date, or is that something that would, if we felt like the need, then we would do it later
Yeah, I'm not gonna set another one. If either of you want
Okay.
to change things in the future, you can file a motion.
on? Okay, all right, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You bet, we're all set. And Trevor
Have a good
Jennings,
day. Bye.
both are here via Zoom. This is the date and time set for proceedings on Ms. Psalm's motion. Matter was originally heard a couple of weeks ago. I was not convinced at that time that there was evidence presented that would be sufficient to modify the custody or parenting time provisions that were in the judgment that had been recently entered. Mr. Jennings, though, said things were coming together, and I just wanted to have one more hearing to make sure that that's all moving in the direction he said it was. It had to do with his certification for welding and his residence and things like that, because there was quite a distance between his employer and his residence, and the child was going back and forth at early and late hours. So I guess I swore you both in last time, so you're still under oath. Mr. Jennings, what's the status of your job and your living situation at this point?
The final TIG aluminum certification we were speaking of at our last hearing, that was on a Monday. The following Wednesday, I finished the test, passed it. A couple days after that, I received that certification. And then starting this coming up Monday, I have a new job in Coopersville, about a half hour from where I live. It's with Kaiser Manufacturing. The building is labeled as Port City Racing.
All right, so that's quite a bit closer than Kalamazoo, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so yeah, from Muskegon, I think that's 10 or 20 miles, maybe at the most.
I want to say it's like 23,
23
according to GPS.
All right, certainly not a concerning distance. And you've got a job in Coopersville, still living in Muskegon?
Yep.
Okay. And you're gonna get your car work done.
The little blue car that I've been working on, I had to get rid of that. I've still got the 89 Mercury Grand Marquis It's in fine running condition. I have a couple of brackets. I just have to get the money to get a set of plow headlights that'll solve any and all concerns on the headlight issue, even though I do have headlights. I don't
You
know.
said it had headlights, just not high beams, right?
Yeah,
All right, so headlights are fine. You don't have to have high beams. There's sometimes a convenience, but certainly not a requirement.
and that's, like I said, I'm trying to make it so that I have high beams as well.
Okay. All right, ma'am, anything else you wanted to address, as far as your motion's concerned?
I wanted to inquire if she was going to be attending Under the Sun daycare as he had previously recommended in our Family Wizard correspondences, or where her child care provider will be now that he is no longer working in Kalamazoo.
You know, who's gonna be the daycare provider for your child, sir?
I've been in contact with Under the Sun, and my plan is for her to just go to Under the Sun on the weeks that I've got her, since we pay for and keep a spot open during those weeks anyways. So she'll go to the same child care provider she goes to when she's with Miss Home.
All right, so you're gonna drive from Muskegon all the way to Fremont and then down to Coopersville to get to work every day?
Yep.
And then, okay, all right. Well,
My shift will be from 8 a.m. until 4:30. It takes about 32 minutes by GPS to get to Under the Sun from my house, and then it'll take me about 35 minutes, I believe it says, to get from there to work. They open at 6:30 a.m. It gives me plenty of time to make that trip, and then they close at 6 p.m. So again, I have plenty of time to get back to her before they close. Shouldn't be any issues with the scheduling of the child care facility.
right.
Wonderful.
sounds good to me. Ma'am, anything else?
I want to let him know I will be in contact with friend of the court to let them know she will be attending 5 days a week. I currently pay for 3 days a week, so that will be changing the not child support, child care expenses. So I will be in contact with them later today and let them know the update so that he does not have to worry about it.
That's just probably gonna result in a motion. I can run it right now if you both want me to for an updated child support, if you both want me to. I mean,
That's the easiest since we're here, get it all taken care of. Because current expenses is $33 a day. I pay $105 for 3 days a week of childcare. We'll be attending 5 days a week, so that will increase the cost. I will.
do you want me to rerun that right now?
I'm all right.
You're all right
Yeah.
with that? Okay. All right, let me, the current recommendation is based on $33 a day, 3 days a week,
Correct.
and that's 12 months out of the year.
That will be until she begins school, the beginning of September.
So then she'll be in kindergarten then, or what?
So then that expense will be discontinued at that time.
I thought they did before school and after school care as well.
I need to inquire about that to see the start time for the kindergarten. But if we do need before school care, that will not be an issue.
Before school is not an issue. After school, maybe there's an after school program or something, which is usually some cost. It's usually not the same as like a daycare center though.
Right, yeah, that'll be a much smaller cost.
All right. So if I change nothing else in your previous calculation, which is pretty recent, except the childcare, and bump that to 175 a week, which is 35 a day times 5 days. That let's see, 22 ordinary medical, 260 for childcare. That bumps it to 434 for childcare. So a total of 436 a month.
So because we're adding 2 days, my rate is now doubling almost.
Well, let's see, we went from 262. We added $70 per week, so we added 70 times 4.35, because it was 105 a week. Now it's 175 a week. So we added 7 times 4.35. We added $304 in childcare based on those 2 days. That's per month. And 436 minus 260. There was 304 in increased daycare expenses, and your support increased the childcare portion 174. So just a little over half of that.
Okay,
So you're both paying about half. So if you're paying 174, she's paying 274, about 130, and you're paying 174. So your income must be a little bit higher. Otherwise, it would be equal. All right.
I've seen posts, her advertising having a new photo studio. I don't know that all of her income is being taken into account.
All
I
right.
have not made any money yet off of my photography.
I wasn't necessarily rerunning support from the ground up. I was just
Okay.
updating the childcare. Because I mean, I would assume if you've got additional certifications now, you may be making more than what was utilized for that calculation as well.
I don't know what that calculation was done at,
Uh,
but there's a possibility.
Well, let's see, I can tell you, but it wasn't my intent to rerun it from the ground up, just to update it for the childcare, but talking about it here. So she was run at 13 an hour, 22 hours a week. You were run at 15.75 an hour, 40 hours a week for that last calculation.
That's why she wasn't run at 40 hours a week, because there's no reason she can't work 40 hours a week, sir.
I don't know. I didn't do that calculation. I'm only telling you what that calculation was based on.
Okay,
All right.
That actually needs to be updated. I am now working 40 hours a week. That should have been followed up by friend of the court. I called and updated them when that change occurred.
Well, the friend of the court doesn't update just based on information. They only update when there's a new, when there's either a review done or a motion.
Okay.
So you're telling me now you want your hours updated to 40?
It would be accurate, yes.
Well, if we're doing that, I probably need to, sir, what are you making at the place you're gonna start working?
we'll be starting at $18 an hour.
18 an hour? I'm gonna put that in too then?
Yep.
All right, let's see what happens. Health insurance available? Let's see, looks like, ma'am, oh, you have the child care. All right, and then health insurance, is she on Medicaid or?
She is on Medicaid. She also has insurance through my employer as well.
And she has insurance with my previous employer. Now that I'm leaving them, I'm supposed to get paperwork about Cobra health insurance, I think it is. It's kind of a stopgap for between jobs.
Okay,
I'll be eligible for health insurance at my new job in 60 days, from my understanding.
okay. Okay. I'll freeze this calculation, waiting for that additional information.
Okay. And Trevor, is your email?
All
I
right.
am scheduled to work until 3 today, but we are trying to work extra hard, get out early today. As soon as I get out, I will be sending copies of that to both of you.
Okay, that sounds good. And I'll put a automatic review in there for the end of the summer, since the childcare is going to change, so we can update that for childcare.
Okay, perfect.
One more question
Yeah.
regarding the change in scheduling to the summer schedule. Because we're now into the first week of June on what would have been my normal week, would she go back to Shannon for this next week and then come back to me for the rest of June, or how is that going to work out?
Whatever your judgment says, let me.
I know it's 3 weeks of the month she's with me, and then a week of the month she'd be with Shannon. I just don't know, because of, like I said, the month changing in the middle of a regularly scheduled week. And I wanted to clarify that before we got off, because that's probably not something that Ms. Salm and I will agree on.
Defendant Trevor Robert Jennings should be afforded parenting time during the summer months, i.e. June, July, and August. With the minor child the first 3 weeks of each month, with the plaintiff being afforded parenting time with the minor child the last week of each month until such time as school resumes. Provided further, unless the parties mutually agree on a different week for plaintiff. So it's clear the intent is that you have 3 weeks each month. So we are 2 days into June. So whatever. It's a little bit vague, because that assumes that each month has 4 weeks. First 3 weeks with dad, last week with mom, but only 1 month, February, has exactly 4 weeks. Every other month has an extra 2 or 3 days to make 30 or 31 days.
Right, exactly.
So I think, at this point, you're only 2 days in, you would still get the next 3 weeks. To make 21 days. And that would take you to the 23rd, and then there'd be 7 days left. That would be a week. But I didn't draft this judgment, so I don't know what the expectation was on those extra days here and there. Because like I said, each month does not have exactly 4 weeks, which your parenting time language seems to anticipate.
I believe the intent was the last Sunday of every month is when I would have her. And I don't know if she looked at a calendar and referenced it directly, but that was my understanding, was the intent of the Sundays, last Sunday of every month I would have her.
That you would get her back the last Sunday of every month?
I believe that was the intent, yep. And then I would have her until the following Sunday. I don't have a calendar in front of me, so I don't know how exactly that works out. Does that sound reasonable?
You asking me or Trevor?
I guess if me and him can agree, him.
If you can agree, the order provides for that agreement.
Right. Because it is so vague.
Yeah, if you don't agree, then there are 2 days in limbo every month, I guess. 2 or 3, depending on the number of days. Or 1, I guess, in a leap year. Well, no, February wouldn't count. This is just June, July, and August. So there are 2 days in June and 3 days in July and August that are going to be in limbo under this order.
I guess I would say, is there any way we can have a conversation with a calendar in front of us and try to work something out?
That would be ideal. I don't have any way of accessing. I think if I pull up my calendar, it will stop the video. Would you like to discuss that now?
All right, let me, so 621. So under the order, if you just read the order without knowing what a calendar looked like, you would assume that Trevor would have 21 days at the beginning of each month, and Shannon would have 7 days at the end of each month. And that would be 84 days over those 3 months. In actuality, there are 92 days in those 3 months. So that's 8 days that are not accounted for in your order. Okay. 2 in June, 3 in July, 3 in August.
2 in June, 3 in July, 3 in August. Okay.
But there are 8 days. I think it would be most equitable if
Sure.
you got 4 of them.
Yeah. So then maybe
As
in
it's
June,
now, she gets a vast majority all the school year, obviously, the weeks of the school year, and then I lose a lot of time. And I also lost a lot of time at the beginning of all this when she had Bridget for 2 months and I had 0 contact, and then I was stuck to every other weekend for another month after that.
It was not 2 months, and the reason it's like that is because you get her for 3 weeks during the summer. That makes up for that time during the school year. That was the judgment of divorce that you signed and agreed to less than 6 months ago.
All right.
And
Now, I feel like 4 and 4 seems
No,
fair.
this is not something that was motioned. I understand that there's a discrepancy and as long as parties agree outside of what's actually motioned and set for a hearing, as long as they agree on language to be modified, I'm usually willing to do that to save time and effort and having to file motions and other
Right.
things. It's not sounding like you're necessarily in agreement on how to resolve this. So I will, to keep the peace, put as part of the order that Mr. Jennings' 21 days would start today. And you would have 3 weeks starting today, and that leaves 7 days for you at the end of the month, ma'am. And that takes you right to the end of June. So June is going to be resolved that way. July and August, if you can agree on those 2 months and the resolution of those extra days, that's great. If you can't, one of you is going to have to file a motion to get that back in front of me to figure that out, or maybe call Mr. Greer or Ms. Emelander, whoever, they're the ones that, one of them prepared this judgment and asked what was the expectation, and the order needs to be modified. But I think June works out nicely because we're already on the 2nd. Mr. Jennings can get his 21 days, and then you can have the last week, just like the order says. But July and August, if you guys can agree on that, which I would urge you to do, to save yourself attorney fees and all that, we're talking about 6 days.
Right.
It just would make sense that you each got 3, I think. But if that's not what the two of you agree on, then like I said, contact your lawyer, see what the expectation was or the intent. If you can't resolve it that way, then one of you would have to file a motion on how to disposition those extra 6 days. All right?
Okay, I will contact Mr. Greer and he will be in contact. Thank you.
All right. If you do have an agreement,
August,
oh wait, what?
I asked her if she would like the 3 extra days in July, and I'll take the 3 extra days in August.
With her starting school in how about we reverse it with her starting school in late August, early September? You would get the 3 extra days in July. I would get them for August so I could take her school shopping and all of that. How does that sound?
I'm all right with that.
Okay, and then so your 3 extra days would be
Dad gets 24 days to start the month, and then mom gets 7. And
Okay.
then the next month, dad gets the 21 days and mom gets the remaining. All right,
All right, perfect.
all right. All right, I'll put that in here.
Okay, very detailed. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
That's what I can think of.
All right, very good. You guys are all set then. I'll do those orders. I'll do this parenting time order now. I'll wait until this afternoon to do to finish that child support one up.
Okay, I will get that email to you as soon as I get out of work. We're hoping to get out early, so I appreciate it.